Would you kindly take your seats? The opening ceremonies of THIMUN Qatar are about to begin. Please turn your attention to the screen to watch a short safety video from the QNCC.
Welcome to the Qatar National Convention Center. Your safety and comfort are very important to us. With this in mind, we ask that you take a moment to watch this short safety presentation. Emergency exits are located throughout the venue and are easily identified by illuminated green and white exit signs. Please now take a moment to locate your nearest emergency exit. Remember, the nearest exit may be located behind you. For your safety, please keep all aisles and exit paths clear at all times. In the unlikely event of an emergency alarm, a flashing warning light will be activated. Please remain calm and listen for further instructions. If you are required to evacuate the building, an announcement will be made in both English and Arabic. In the event of an emergency evacuation, please move swiftly to the nearest emergency exit. Some venues, such as the theatre and auditoria, have illuminated escape path lighting to guide you to the nearest emergency exits. Please follow the instructions given by the fully trained QNCC staff and move quickly to the nearest emergency exit, following the signs until you are outside the building. Once outside, you will be directed to the nearest assembly point where you will receive further instructions. If you discover a fire, please raise the alarm using a manual call point. This will immediately activate the emergency evacuation sequence. All alarms will be responded to by the QNCC team. If you require first aid assistance, please approach a member of the QNCC team. QNCC is a non-smoking venue, and smoking is not permitted at any time in any part of the venue. Should you wish to smoke, please use the designated smoking areas which are located outside the building. Thank you for watching. On behalf of all of us at Qatar National Convention Center, we hope you enjoy a safe and memorable visit.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. ضيوفنا الكرام، السيدات والسادة، المندوبين الأعزاء، بالإصالة عن نفسي وعن ثايمن، أحب أن أرحب بكم جميعا في المؤتمر السنوي الثاني ثايمن قطر 2013.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, delegates. On behalf of myself and the Hague International Marginalized Nations, I would like to welcome you all to our second annual THIMUN Qatar Conference. My name is Anne-Marie Anthony, and I am the President of the General Assembly.
My name is Rehab Abdul Wahab, and I am the Deputy President of the General Assembly.
My name is Tala Taji, and I am the Deputy Secretary General for Student Officers.
THIMUN Qatar is honored to have Qatar Academy's Grade 5 students as the flag bearers for the Parade of Nations. Please let us all welcome the Grade 5 students as they make their way on stage.
This year's theme is good governance. The challenge before you during the conference is to think and discuss ways in which we can create societies that allow for effective, moral, and representative systems of government. Today's keynote speaker has been instrumental in developing both national and international institutions to promote good governance. His Excellency, Dr. Ali bin Ftais Al-Marri, is currently serving as the Attorney General of the State of Qatar. He obtained a doctorate in international law at Sorbonne University, France. He has served the State of Qatar in numerous capacities, including as a member and rapporteur of the Qatar Commission on Permanent Constitution, a member of the Committee of Boundaries Delimitation between the Qatar and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and represented Qatar before the International Court of Justice in the Qatar versus Bahrain case. He is also a professor of international law at Qatar University. Honored guests, please now welcome to the stage His Excellency, Qatari Attorney General, Dr. Ali bin Ftais Al-Marri.
لا استريح هناك معاهم شوف. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بداية يسعدني ويشرفني أن أكون معكم في هذا التجمع والذي سعينا له من فترة طويلة. وأذكر أن أول تجمع كان بهذا الشكل كان في فندق الشيراتون بحضور أثناء انعقاد مؤتمر مكافحة الفساد، والذي وقع في الدوحة وعرف بعد ذلك بآليات الدوحة.
In the name of God, the Merciful, the Magnificent, I would like to welcome you here. And to start with, I would like to recall that we had a similar gathering back in the Sheraton in 2009 on the side of the UN Convention Against Corruption.
بداية أيضا أود أن أتكلم باللغة العربية لعدة أسباب.
I would like to speak in Arabic for a number of reasons.
أولاً اللغة الثانية لدي هي الفرنسية.
First, my second language is French.
السبب الأهم من ذلك نحن في قطر شعب يفتخر بدينه ولغته وعاداته.
Most importantly, in Qatar, we are very proud, we as people are very proud of our religion, our customs, and our language.
أرى في هذا الحضور صغير السن الجميل بما يحمل أمل الغد، أمل المستقبل. أنتم المستقبل، أنتم الغد. لذلك أوكي. Sorry.
I see in this presence the hope of the future, the hope of tomorrow, and I'm very happy about it.
لذلك أرجو كل الرجاء أن ندخل في هذا العصر الحديث الجميل بما يحمل، لكن في نفس الوقت أن لا ننسى الرابط بيننا وبين التاريخ الذي جلب لنا هذا المستقبل.
Therefore, I would like to kindly ask that we go into the future and the present, but not to forget our history, our beautiful history who had led us to this point.
تاريخنا وتاريخكم الإسلامي العربي القطري.
Our and your Qatari Arabic and Islamic history.
تاريخ يستحق أن نفخر به.
A history that deserves to be proud of.
غني بكل ما تحمل كلمة غني من معنى.
Rich in every term of the word rich.
إذا كانت الحضارة الإسلامية والعربية قد انخفضت بعض الشيء وظهرت حضارات جديدة فهذا هو شرع الدنيا.
If the Arab and Islamic civilization have fell down for a little bit, but this is the rules of our world.
تنخفض أو تنتهي وتحل محلها أخرى ليكون هناك دافع للأمم الصغيرة لتكبر وتتحدى نفسها بأن تكون عوامل ضغط على الأمم الكبيرة ليكون لها مكان تحت الشمس.
Some nations rise and others may go down, but this is how things work, and this would give a motive to the small countries and small nations to push along and to go ahead to rise once again.
أنا آسف إنه أخذ الحديث إلى جانب آخر مش هو موضوع محاضرتنا، لكن حضوركم والجو اللي قد أكون أبهرني بعض الشيء هو اللي خلاني أسلط بعض الضوء على بعض النقاط اللي قد تكون لفتت انتباهي أثناء دخولي للقاعة.
Apologies once again because I have changed the subject from the subject of the conference, but my presence here and your presence have abstracted my mind on some issues that I wanted to raise.
أعود للموضوع اللي جيت من أجله، وهو تعريف مبدئي بسيط لكم بما حدث في قطر أو بما تم صنعه في قطر على أيادي قطرية.
Let me go back to introduce what happened in Qatar on the hands of the Qataris in a short time.
منذ تولي سمو الأمير الشيخ حمد بن خليفة آل ثاني مغاليد الحكم، وهو يعمل بجهد لإرساء دولة حقيقية في هذا البلد هي دولة القانون والمؤسسات.
Since His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani assumed power, he has been working on implementing the state of law in Qatar.
عملية بناء دولة القانون والمؤسسات ليست بعملية سهلة.
Building institutions and the state of law is not an easy job to do.
يعني صدقوني كل حكومة على وجه هذه الأرض، كل دولة، كل حاكم يحلم بأن يقيم في دولته دولة القانون والمؤسسات والعدالة.
And believe me, on the face of the earth, every ruler dreams that he can achieve a state of law on his territory.
لكن العملية في نهاية المطاف ليست بالأماني وليست بنزهة ممكن أن يصنعها أي شخص.
But at the end, it's not wishes or a small journey any person can achieve.
بداية يجب أن يكون هناك حاكم قوي مؤمن بالعدالة.
To start with, we have to have a strong ruler who believes in justice.
لا يمكن بأي حال من الأحوال أن نقيم دولة الرأس فاسد لنصلح فيها الجسد.
We cannot in any ways have a head who's corrupted and who works to reform a nation or the body.
لذلك لابد أن تكون هناك إرادة سياسية عليا صادقة ورجل صالح في أي دولة ليستطيع بداية أن يقيم النظام السياسي الذي يحمل العدالة ودولة القانون.
Therefore, there has to be a strong and a just person on the head of the government who can reform this country. And
لذلك يعني كان تركيز سمو الأمير منذ البداية على أن يكون هناك دستور ودستور واضح ويعمل به.
From the beginning, His Highness the Emir emphasized on a strong constitution, a clear one as well.
والدستور كما تعلمون كطلاب في جامعة حمد بن خليفة هو العقد الاجتماعي الذي يربط الحاكم بالمحكوم.
And as you know, as students of Hamad bin Khalifa University, that the constitution is a social contract which organizes the relationship between the governor and the governed.
عملت اللجنة التي وضعت الدستور على أساس توجيه مبدئي من سمو الأمير بأن يكون هناك فصل تام في السلطة داخل السلطات في الدولة.
The committee which prepared the constitution have worked upon instructions of His Highness to clearly divide powers in the country.
لذلك كان هناك 3 سلطات في الدولة مفصول بينها فصل تام، وهي السلطة التشريعية والسلطة التنفيذية والسلطة القضائية.
Therefore we had completely separate powers which are the legislative, the executive, and the judicial.
فيما يتعلق بالسلطات الثلاث يعني ما راح أدخل في تفاصيلها لأنكم كلكم يعني على ما أعتقد طلبة جامعيين وفاهمين هذه القصة.
I wouldn't go into details on the division of powers because all of you are students and you would know this story.
في العادة بين السلطة التشريعية والتنفيذية المشاكل أقل منها مع السلطة القضائية.
Normally, problems between the legislative and the executive powers, the problems are little, not like the ones that they have with the judicial power.
السلطة القضائية في قطر مستقلة استقلال تام تحكم من قبل الرئيسين، الرئيس المجلس الأعلى للقضاء والنائب العام.
The judicial authority in Qatar is completely independent, and it is being led by two people who are the Attorney General and the President of the Supreme Judicial Council.
سمو الأمير يدرك تماما بأن الدولة إن لم تقم على العدالة لن تكون دولة حقيقية.
His Highness the Emir believes completely that a state which is not built on justice would not be a good state.
الدولة التي لن تقوم على مبدأ العدالة والشفافية والعدل للجميع دون استثناء المواطن والمقيم لن تصمد أمام الريح.
A state that does not implement justice for all and the transparent justice would not be strong enough to endure the wind that might move it.
لذلك ومن هذا المنطلق أصبح لدينا في قطر بفضل الله سلطة قضائية قوية.
Therefore, because of that and with the blessing of God, we have a strong judicial power in Qatar.
أنا لا أقول هذا الكلام لأنني النائب العام اليوم، لكن أقوله من خلال إحصائيات وتجارب ودعوة عامة لكل من هو في هذه القاعة إذا أراد أن يزور النيابة أو القضاء سيعمل له برنامج.
I'm not saying that because I am an Attorney General, but I'm talking out of statistics and statements, and I would like to invite anybody who would like to visit the prosecution and the courts.
وأعتبرها دعوة للجامعة ولكم أيضا إذا أرادت الجامعة جامعة حمد بن خليفة أن تقيم بروتوكول تعاوني مع السلطة القضائية فنحن على أتم الاستعداد لتلقي بعض الطلبة خصوصا طلبة القانون للقيام بالعمل اليومي العمل النظري داخل النيابة العامة سواء حضور التحقيق الذهاب إلى المحكمة مرافقة وكلاء النائب العام مثل ما جالسين الآن تلعبون دور الأمم المتحدة نخليكم تلعبون دور وكيل النائب العام.
So I would like to invite especially law students to come to the prosecution and as at the same time like you are now playing the role of the UN, you can play the role of the investigator in the public prosecution.
أعتبرها دعوة للجامعة إذا أردت ودعوة لكم كأبنائي وأخواني الطلبة للحضور للنيابة العامة في أي وقت تحضرون إن شاء الله كمتدربين ليس كمدعوين.
I would like to ask you to attend as students and to the university and to invite you as trainees and not people asked to stand before public prosecution.
بناء على كل ما فات كان لابد من مبادرات قطرية قامت المبادرات عدة لكن أنا أعتقد أنه من أهمها واللي يحتاج أو يستحق أن يسلط عليها الضوء هي مؤتمر الأمم المتحدة والذي وقع فيه في الدوحة استكمل فيه اتفاقية مكافحة الفساد وخرج هذا المؤتمر بآليات الدوحة.
I would like to refer to a number of Qatar initiative, one of which is the UN Convention Against Corruption, which was finalized in its last mechanism in Doha in 2009, where the review mechanism was established.
عندما نتكلم عن مؤتمر استطاع أن يخلق آلية وتعرف بعد ذلك باسم البلد أو المكان اللي أقيم فيه المؤتمر، معناه أنه مؤتمر كان ناجح بكل المقاييس وخلق فارق. بعد هذا المؤتمر لن يكون العالم كما كان قبل هذا المؤتمر.
When a conference manages to adapt a mechanism and it's named after the city where it was adopted, I think it would have been considered as a successful mechanism which changed the world.
وهذا اقتباس من ما تفضل به معالي الأمين العام بان كيمون.
And here I was quoting His Excellency the Secretary General Mr. Ban Ki-moon.
بعد مؤتمر الدوحة كان له تعبير جيد أعجبني في قوله بأن العالم لن يكون بعد المؤتمر كما كان قبله، لأن خلق آليات الدوحة تخلق نوعا من التفتيش من الدول كل منها على الآخر.
I like the expression that Mr. Ban Ki-moon used, that the world would not be like it used to be before the Doha mechanism was established, because it's a procedure to track nations on their implementation of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption.
يعني مؤتمر الدوحة فرض نوع من التفتيش من الدول كل منها على الآخر، يعني الدولة 1 و2 تفتش على الدولة رقم 3.
Two countries started to inspect the implementation of a third country for the conference.
تفتش عليها بمعنى أنه المفتشين من الدولة 1 و2 عندما يذهبون إلى الدولة 3 يبحثون عن معايير النزاهة والشفافية ومكافحة الفساد.
Inspectors from the two countries, when they visit the third country being inspected, they look into transparency indexes and the fulfillment of the UN treaty.
لذلك أتفق تماما مع ما تفضل به معالي الأمين العام السيد بان كيمون في هذا المقال.
And that's why, because I support what Mr. Ban Ki-moon said at that time.
استمرت المبادرات بعد كذا، وكان آخر مبادرة في قطر هي يمكن أكثركم شاهدها، اللي هي موضوع استرداد أموال دول الربيع العربي.
We had a number of initiatives, the last of which was the stolen asset recovery from the Arab Spring countries.
المؤتمر ركز على قضية أن دول الربيع العربي نهبت منها أموال كثيرة.
This conference emphasized on the recovery of the stolen assets from the Arab Spring countries.
عندما نتكلم عن دول الربيع العربي فنحن نتكلم عن مصر وليبيا وتونس واليمن.
These countries are Libya, Tunis, Yemen and Egypt.
الأمم المتحدة تعمل جاهدة على أن تعود هذه الأموال إلى أوطانها الحقيقية وإلى من كانوا الأحق بأن يصرفوها.
The UN works hard on recovering these assets and giving them back to its people.
طبعا لا يسمح الوقت بالدخول في تفاصيل هذا الملف، لكن يعتبر من الملفات اللي أنا أعتقد أن الأمم المتحدة كانت موفقة في المبادرة للعمل فيه.
We don't have the time to go into the details on this initiative, but I think the UN, it was one of the successful initiatives of the UN.
لذلك أنا أعتقد أنه من الملفات المهمة جدا. الطريق بيكون طويل لهذا الملف، لكن في نهاية المطاف لا يملك العالم أمام قضايا مهمة وملحة وفيها مظلمة بين مثل هذه الملفات أن يقف العالم مكتوف الأيدي.
This file has a long work ahead, but the world cannot stand speechless in front of such things.
أنا أعتقد أنه عندكم الآن يعني تدريب مهم على قضية مهمة في القانون الدولي العام، خصوصا في المنظمات الدولية ستقومون الآن بتطبيقه، وهو التمثيل بالجمعية العامة وأمين عام الأمم المتحدة.
I think you will have a very important model and in following international public law and international organization and enacting a UN model.
ما أنا قبل أن أنتهي من هذه المحاضرة البسيطة اللي سعدت فيها بمقابلتكم والتعرف عليكم عن قرب، ويعني اللي أرجو أن تعملوا عليه كل واحد منكم من الطلبة الجالسين في هذه القاعة لا يستبعد أن يكون مشروع حقيقي في يوم من الأيام لأن يكون أمين عام الأمم المتحدة أو رئيس الجمعية العامة.
Before I finalize this, I would like to ask every student here to keep in mind that every person in this room who I was happy to see can be a real project of a Secretary General or a President of a General Assembly.
افتحوا السقف للطموح.
You have to open the ceiling for your ambitions.
لا يكون هناك سقف لطموحكم أين ستصلون.
Regardless where you would like to go.
إذا كان سقفك أن تكون الأمين العام للأمم المتحدة ولم تصل إلى هذا المنصب ستصل إلى أقل منه بقليل.
If you had an ambition to be a Secretary General and you did not achieve that, I'm sure that you will achieve something a little bit less.
لذلك الوصول إلى أقل منه بقليل نجاح قوي أيضا وباهر.
And achieving this would be considered a big success as well.
لكني أنا أرى في عيونكم كلكم بلا استثناء مشاريع صح حقيقية لتكونوا أمناء عامين ورؤساء جمعيات عامة.
I see in your eyes everybody future possibilities of becoming real Secretary Generals and Presidents of General Assemblies.
أتمنى لكم ولجامعتكم الموقرة التوفيق والنجاح، ونكرر مرة أخرى نتشرف عندما نكون في هذه المحافل.
I wish you success once again, and it's been a real honor and pleasure to be among you.
تقلدت الكثير من المناصب، دخلت الكثير من اللجان، لكن الحقيقة الذي أرجو أن تصدقوني فيها لم أستمتع في حياتي كما استمتعت بوجودي في أروقة الجامعة أي جامعة. لم أستمتع كما استمتعت بكياني. مارست لي سنوات التدريس في جامعة قطر وجامعة باريس واحد بونتيوس سوربون. التدريس في الجامعة عالم آخر لا يوازيه عالم في هذه الدنيا.
I have assumed many positions and I have chaired many committees, but it is nothing compared to the joy when I was a student and even when I was a lecturer, whether in Qatar University or at the Sorbonne, because this was the peak of the joy that I had.
أتمنى لكم التوفيق وكل ثقة في أننا في أيديكم في المستقبل إن شاء الله سنكون في أيدي أمينة، فأنتم المستقبل.
I wish you all the best and you are the future, and I'm sure that we are within safe hands in the future.
شكرا للجميع.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. On behalf of THIMUN Qatar, we would like to present you with a token of appreciation. We would now like to please welcome onto the stage Mr. Sultan Al-Kabi, the THIMUN Qatar Secretary General.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And good afternoon. Your Excellencies, Honorable Model United Nations Directors, esteemed guests, fellow student officers, and respected delegates. It is with immense gratification that I welcome you to the second session of the Hague International Model United Nations. My name is Sultan Al-Kabi, and I will be serving as the Secretary General throughout this conference. I am delighted to have joined the Model United Nations, for it was a major source of inspiration for me. It has inspired me to work towards the advantage of society, as well as challenged me to be more unprejudiced. The activities of MUN are a source of knowledge. They get us involved in the humanitarian activities of the United Nations. We get to deal with issues directly by contributing to the well-being of each individual and by attempting to find solutions to a number of the world's biggest issues. We become more participants than spectators, a luxury that most don't have in the real world. A delegates' conference is a matchless happening. Therefore, I would like to urge all delegates to make the best out of this conference. To achieve this, one needs to partake the affairs of the conference. One must show intense curiosity in the events that take place during the committee sessions. Governance is the theme of this year's conference. It is not by coincidence that we are all here in this room together, which is why everyone has a role to play. Most of our efforts are directed towards the developments of our homeland. We forget that we are citizens of the whole world. The world would be a better place by joint efforts of different nations. As the world ambassadors, we should concentrate on improving the world. As delegates, we should understand the role we play in our countries as well as other nations. Our role is not restricted to just the presentation of our countries. We are not mere representatives of our member states. Regardless of where we are, it is our duty to convey and represent the interests of the world's citizens. We should understand the significant responsibility that has been placed upon us by being given the role of a delegate. With the changing times, the need for a better governance has been created. It is up to us delegates to ensure that our world is governed with consideration of everyone in this world. Every person, no matter how subjugated he, she may be, means something. We all have a role to play in the development of the world. This means that no one can be disregarded, even if they don't have much to offer. Governance is about providing the right leadership style for each nation, depending on the history of their nation. Each one of them requires a unique style. It is up to us to determine which style they need and how to deliver it. The Model United Nations is of great importance to the youth. It exposes them to the issues the world is facing and gives them a chance to deal with the situation at hand, as well as enables them to work hand in hand in hope of creating a better place. With that being said, I would like to thank my executive team, administration team, press team, as well as Mr. Jansen and Ms. Rogers for all their work in making this conference possible and for believing in me. It has been my pleasure to work alongside of all of you. Please make the best out of this conference. I wish you all the pleasant stay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sultan Al-Kabi. Ladies and gentlemen, please now turn your attention to the screen to watch a short welcome from the Director of Qatar Academy, Dr. Eric Sands.
On behalf of Qatar Academy, I would like to welcome you to the second annual THIMUN Qatar Conference. With over 1,200 delegates representing 73 countries, THIMUN Qatar is the largest Model United Nations conference in our region and is a true representation of the United Nations. Qatar Academy is proud to be in partner with THIMUN Foundation and to support our common objective of providing students with the tools to seek solutions to global issues through discussion, negotiation, and debate. I wish you a very wonderful THIMUN conference. Thank you.
Qatar Shell has sponsored MUN programs in Qatar for the past 8 years. Their support has allowed us to continue to strive to change the world and understand current pressing issues. It is our great honor today to announce that Qatar Shell has committed to sponsoring THIMUN Qatar for the next 5 years. We have the privilege of having Mr. Rob Sherwin, the General Manager of Corporate Affairs and Deputy Country Chairman of Qatar Shell with us here today. After Mr. Sherwin's speech, we will sign a commemorative letter recognizing Shell's commitment to Qatar and MUN programs throughout the region. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Rob Sherwin to the stage.
Dr. Ali bin Fatais Al-Mari, Attorney General of Qatar, Huthaina Al-Nawaimi, Executive Director Pre-University Programs at Qatar Foundation, Maha Al-Rumehi, Assistant Principal of Qatar Academy, and delegates of THIMUN Qatar 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be amongst you all today and to be addressing, I think, around 1,200 high school student delegates from Qatar and across the Middle East region, who, as Dr. Ali already said, are the bright future of this region. Firstly, I would like to congratulate Qatar Academy, Qatar Foundation, and the THIMUN Foundation for successfully growing and nurturing The Hague International Model United Nations Qatar into what it is today. Qatar Shell has been sponsoring THIMUN for the past 7 years since it touches the human and social pillars of the Qatar National Vision 2030, which we strongly support through its focus on education, teamwork, and leadership. This outstanding program brings together high school students, helping them to develop as leaders with a global vision, building their confidence and giving them the opportunity to make new friends from across the world. I consider myself incredibly fortunate to work at a multinational company where every day I am working with people from, I think, over 60, 70 different nationalities in our company. And I'm quite convinced that it is the strength of that international diversity that helps us as Shell aspire to be the world's most innovative and competitive energy company. How many of you today here have a mobile phone that connects to the internet? If you've got one, just hold it up. Let me see the screen. Come on, there must be more than that. Yeah, right at the top. Okay, so I think you've just proved to me you are the most connected generation in history. With the internet, mobile phones, iPads, I saw them all as I came in, high-speed travel, fantastic airlines, and various other technologies, I think it's important that with all that connectivity, we learn to live and work together as a global community of nations. So the mission of THIMUN to practice tolerance and live together in peace, and it's also to seek solutions through dialogue. It's a noble journey, and we fully support it. I would like to take this opportunity to urge all of the student delegates to practice these ideals in the coming 3 days throughout your interactions with fellow delegates, and to prove to all of us that these ideals can be lived out. I'd also like to encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and see what it feels like to be standing in somebody else's shoes. Try, as you're debating, to put yourself in other people's shoes and look from the other person's or the other nation's perspective. I hope that this experience will broaden your worldview and create a depth of compassion and understanding that will allow you to build a bridge towards greater understanding and cooperation in the future. We are really delighted to be able to extend Qatar Shell's partnership with THIMUN Qatar for the next 5 years, and we hope to see the Model United Nations movement continue to grow from strength to strength in this region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sherwin, for those encouraging words of wisdom. If I could now please ask Ms. Maha Al-Rumehi, Assistant Principal of Qatar Academy, and THIMUN Qatar Secretary General Sultan Al-Kabi to join Mr. Sherwin on stage for the signing ceremony. Thank you, Mr. Sherwin. On behalf of THIMUN Qatar, we would like to now present you with a token of appreciation.
Now, please welcome to the stage the Director of THIMUN Qatar, Mr. Cameron Jansen, for the welcoming address.
Your Excellency, honored guests, esteemed delegates, and staff. On behalf of THIMUN Qatar, Ann Rogers and I would like to welcome you to the second annual THIMUN Qatar Conference. I'd like to start this afternoon by thanking a number of people who have been instrumental in making THIMUN Qatar possible. I'd like to thank Qatar Academy, Qatar Foundation, and the THIMUN Foundation. It is through your support that the THIMUN Qatar Regional Office is possible. Thank you for continually placing students and their educational concerns and learning as your primary factor when making decisions and solving problems. I'd also especially like to thank the students and staff who make this conference possible. This conference is possible as a result of many volunteers volunteering many hours. For those of you who are not familiar with MUN conferences are organized, managed, and administrated by student leaders. They are involved in every aspect of the conference, from planning, administration, budgetary concerns, to moving people in and out of this auditorium. Behind the scenes, they are supported by dedicated teachers who volunteer their time to teach them vital leadership skills. This conference is a result of these efforts, and we cannot thank you enough. I'd also like to thank Qatar Shell for their support. Qatar Shell has been a steadfast supporter of MUN programs for the past 8 years. My first meeting with Qatar Shell was in 2005 at the Drone Moors, when your offices were located in the small little villas just opposite of VCU. It was at that time that Shell was just new to Qatar, and we were new to trying to start MUN programs. Shell gave us the support needed to start that very first conference in Qatar. Your willingness to support the program, even in its development stage, is a testimony to your company's commitment to the long-term growth and development of Qatar. On behalf of THIMUN Qatar and the now 6,000 plus delegates who have attended either a QA-MUN conference or a THIMUN Qatar conference, thank you very much. Our theme this year is good governance. 2 years ago, my family and I took a vacation to Syria. We spent 14 days exploring every corner of this great country. We were amazed by its geography, its human diversity, and its amazing history and the warmth of its people. From an outsider's perspective, one could not tell that just 3 months later, this country would begin its descent into lawlessness, chaos, and almost a complete absence of governance. How does this happen? As an outsider, when I was traveling Syria, things seemed normal. Governments seemed to function. How does a system of governance fail so completely in such a quick order? What are our responsibilities as citizens to ensure that this does not happen to our nation state? What is our responsibility as decision makers in government to ensure that does not happen to our beloved homelands? We trust that during these 3 days you will think very deeply and seriously about these issues and come to some conclusions about this topic. We hope that this conference helps shape your understanding of this very important and critical issue. We wish you all the best in this conference, and we look forward to seeing you again next year. Thank you. I have written all over my speech, and Ms. Rogers reminded me, and I apologize to the band. Thank you once again for your fantastic contributions. I'd also like to thank the choir and the grade 5 team for their wonderful, for their presentation as well. This year, I didn't forget.
Thank you, Mr. Jensen, for those inspirational words. For the past 2 years, THIMUN Qatar in Northwestern University has held a film festival to present and admire the outstanding talent of young artistic filmmakers within Qatar. This year's festival will be held from April 11th to April 13th. We encourage all individuals, delegate or not a delegate, to use your talent and tools to create and inspire world-altering films. Please welcome this year's festival coordinator, Ms. Noor Al-Thani.
Your Excellency, honorable student officers, respected delegates, and esteemed guests. In 2009, Model United Nations in Qatar introduced the Film Institute and the Film Festival, and it has been an ongoing annual event ever since. This year, the THIMUN Foundation and Northwestern University in Qatar will commence with its second annual International Film Festival in April 2013. The Film Festival, to be hosted in Doha, is designed to encourage MUN delegates to move past the four walls in the MUN debate room and engage in video advocacy on issues debated in MUN conferences and beyond. THIMUN Qatar Northwestern Film Festival also strives to provide support to students by featuring the Film Institute, which is led by student officers and instructors with a filmmaking background. The Film Institute offers educational opportunities and cinematic skills for both filmmakers and film enthusiasts to broaden their knowledge of art and appreciation of the power of film. Just like will.i.am's lyrics encourages everyone to scream, shout, and let it all out, the THIMUN Qatar Northwestern Film Festival gives students the opportunity to do so, screen their films, and educate the world on issues that you, as students, are passionate about. We hope every one of you takes advantage of this opportunity and are inspired to participate in this year's film festival. The previous year's award for Best Cinematography was presented to the dedicated filmmaker Jude Shahab. And give you a taste of what the film festival is all about, we would like to show you her documentary, Behind the Tents, based on the story of young Lebanese potato farm workers. Thank you.
عنا بالحلوة فلفلة حلوة بالبندورة بالحل المغرب نفطر ونروح ننام بتعب كنا بنتعب الحين ما بقى إلا شغل مبسوطين ايه لا حتى إذا كبرت بدي أشتغل بدي أتجوز لا ما بدي أتجوز عشان ما بيتعذبون نحن
ومبسوطة أنتِ؟ أنا مبسوطة. طب ليه مبسوطة؟ مبسوطة؟ ليه مبسوطة؟ بالشغل؟ ولا واحد مبسوط. روحي تخيل. ليه مبسوطة؟ قولي ليه مبسوطة؟ ولا مانك مبسوطة؟ ما كثير. ما كثير.
أنا اسمي غانم. عندما في الصبح بغسل وجهي، بعمل شاي، بشرب، بكون شعري هيك مكنفش، ببله بمي وبمشطه، بحط له جل، بعدين تجينا السيارة الساعة 4 الصبح مشان بدنا نروح على البطاطا. نطلع بالبطاطا، نطلع في السيارة، بنروح لما بنوصل هونيك عند البطاطا نلبس الحروج جنفاصة هيك. لما بيغلع الموتير نحن نلم ورا بطاطا.
هلا خلص نصور هدول
بعدين نروح ننام هونيك للساعة 5 المغرب، نجي نغسل هذول. ما بنلبس صبات وهي عادتنا على طول. الأولاد صغار كبار حيا ناكل بطاطا وبندورة.
أنا اسمي مها. كل نهار الصبح في بلبس ثيابي وروح على الشغل. هنيك بس روح على الشغل روح ورد العالم، بس ورد العالم تصيح لي مي هاتوا مي، بروح اعطيهم مي، بس اعطيهم مي اروح ابرك. نرجع على البيت هون نلعب انا ورفقاتي بشرى وعبير ومنى وكلهم، نلعب في تحت الوردة دمت الوردة. هون ضربني عمي، هون مسحني دمي، هون تعب الغزالة، هون غزتني نحلة، هون ليمونة حمرا، هون ليمونة صفرا. هون بيتي وبجي بالصيفية بشتغل وكل شي، وهون بيت خالي وهدول بيتنا وهاد ورشتنا، يعني بتروح تشتغل وعايشين يعني.
لما بتكبري شو بدك تعملي لما تكبري؟
بدنا اخذ بكالوريا.
أنا رئيس.
أنا بدي أصير دكتورة. الجيش. أنا محامي.
أنا ما بروح المدرسة.
بعرف أقرأ وبعرف أكتب.
أنا بحب المدرسة.
أنا ضابط جيش. أنا نجحت على الخامس، جيت لأمس عم بشتغل.
أنا بحب أدرس بكالوريا.
وأنا البكالوريا والجامعة. أنا دكتورة. بصير بياع خضرة.
أنا بدي أصير أنسة.
بس هون عنا العادات، يعني ما بنطلع لا دكتورة ولا أنسة.
Now, in honor of THIMUN Qatar's opening and the welcoming of delegates from all over the world, we would now like to introduce a special performance by the choir of the American School of Doha, singing Sing, arranged by Simon Hill. time for our student ambassador speeches. This year, the ambassadors submitted their speeches prior to the conference. Upon review of the speeches, we have selected a number of ambassadors to speak during the ceremony. We would now like to call upon the student ambassadors of Brazil, Costa Rica, Pakistan, Poland, Switzerland, and the United States of America to please approach the stage.
Distinguished guests, honorable chairs, and fellow delegates, it is with great honor that Brazil regards this noteworthy platform, and it is with great pleasure that its delegation is present here today. Being a founding member of the United Nations, it is no surprise that Brazil plays a dynamic role within the organization. Since 1947, Brazil has always opened general debates and has been voted onto the Security Council 10 times, the most for a non-permanent member. Brazil has been active in all facets of the UN, from anti-terrorism to the eradication of poverty. It is also one of the top contributors to the United Nations peacekeeping force, which has become progressively important in a time of increased conflict in regions like Mali and Syria. Brazil has also taken a strong stance against the testing of nuclear weapons, being one of the first nations to sign the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. The delegation believes that a ban on testing would be the first step towards the total abolishment of nuclear weapons. The proliferation of small arms and light weapons is an issue of equal importance, with the recent shootouts in the United States of America capturing global headlines. It is time to act before more lives are lost due to negligence in the matter. Brazil is also committed to removing racist intent from the world. It is against the protection and promotion of human rights. Housing a population where over 50% of the people have African roots, it is a top priority for Brazil, amongst the other nations, to resolve. Furthermore, Brazil is vigorously seeking its inclusion into the Security Council as a permanent member. It is clear that Brazil is one of the UN's most involved members, and in an era of rapid change, it is imperative that the adequate adjustments are made. Brazil believes that any issue can be solved with ease, as long as there is unity amongst the member nations. These issues affect us all, so we must come together to solve them as one. The delegation of Brazil believes that the United Nations is the perfect stage to bring together all the nations on an equal basis to discuss and solve these worldly issues. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, distinguished guests, and fellow delegates. The delegation of Costa Rica is honored to be able to stand here and address the House today. Many issues, such as developing sustainable tourism, governmental corruption, economic inequality, and the erosion of the rule of law, plague our society. Without a doubt, an essential key to the solution of all the present issues confronting us is the possession of good governance. Whereas the triangle of peace, development, and freedom is fundamental, Costa Rica believes that good governance comes from the following points: free and open elections, individual and national wealth, and the strength of the rule of law. However, as evident as these points may be to nations all around the world, we still see problems plaguing the lives of every man, woman, and child around the globe. If we are to truly confront and solve these problems, we must strengthen our resolve to achieve good governance. In the world today, all nations, no matter how distant, are connected to one another by moral imperatives and objective interests alike. Delegates, it is time that we, as the United Nations, take collective action towards a larger freedom and solving these problems. Thank you.
Honorable guests, fellow delegates, and respectable chairs. As you may all be aware, Pakistan has played an active role in the United Nations for years now and has heavily emphasized on introducing adequate protection against religious intolerance and maintained a considerable focus on peacekeeping across the globe. The nation is the largest provider of troops to the United Nations and has had a significant involvement in peacekeeping missions in the countries of Somalia, Sierra Leone, Bosnia, Congo, and Liberia, all of which are only a portion of the nations Pakistan has made a contribution to for overcoming such an issue. Pakistan has a number of participating agencies that are currently working and strengthening themselves to attain sustainable urbanization, as well as working to ease the struggles that lower classes face due to environmental degradation. Recently, Pakistan has been enjoying expansion across the private sector along with low interest rates and less government borrowing due to a reduction in the fiscal deficit. Overall, Pakistan is steadily developing itself to become permanently stable financially and sovereignly. Delegates, we are all familiar with the UN's efforts and successes to bring nations together to discuss matters of war, peace, justice, and nature. And therefore, the delegate of Pakistan humbly wishes each and every delegate a constructive and eye-opening conference. Thank you very much.
Distinguished guests, honorable delegates, Switzerland, or the Swiss Confederation, is a peaceful country. In this conference, we hope to accomplish many goals so that there are a large number of resolutions passed and only a few that have failed. But in addition to this, Switzerland believes that resolutions can be drawn up so that our environment can be preserved and democracy can be proliferated, as we believe that conflict should be resolved peacefully and disparities that are present in the world can be resolved. And countries like Switzerland, which are economically active around the world, can search for new markets to expand into. This is good for us as people can see future prospects without leaving their homes and go abroad, as this can also create problems. Switzerland is largely interested in the issue of measures to reduce economic inequality so that the problems that we face of unfair distribution income which lead to economic inequality can be resolved in a peaceful way which is effective and also practical to tackle. Switzerland is also interested in other topics as well, such as combating terrorism so that countries can be safe. Switzerland would like to take this moment to express Switzerland's sincere condolences to the victims of the 10th January attacks that took place in Quetta and Swat Valley. Thank you.
Respected Chair, honourable delegates and distinguished guests, the Republic of Poland, being an active member of the European Union and NATO, extended support and friendship not only to neighbouring countries but also to developing nations with the intention of broadening the concept of unity and solidarity. Poland is particularly concerned with the social exclusion of minorities that is still exhibited in employment and education all around the world to date. We live in a time when race and ethnicity can no longer exist as a reason for the withholding of a person's integration into a community. Thus, viewing the repression of rights of the Polish minority in Belarus, we strive to fight for a more equal and accepting society, hoping that the efforts of this conference will lead us to an effective solution to battle the social and economic struggles working against us. At times like this, with warfare tearing at the Middle East and the recession bringing down Europe, the leaders of the global community must stand together as one when taking action to move towards a better future for ourselves, for each other, and for those who will come after us. Thank you.
Growth, progress, and development. These are the ideals that the United States of America will strive to uphold. Honorable Chair, fellow delegates, and most esteemed guests, let's take a moment to reflect. Around the world, the winds of change are blowing. As seen by the Arab Spring movement, leadership changes across the board and the dive to break the sound barrier. With new freedoms being realized, new presidents being elected, and new limits being redefined, 2013 is the year to strengthen, to build, to encourage, and to aspire. At this conference, we will do exactly this. In environment, strengthening protection of the Arctic and Antarctic. In General Assembly 1, building confidence between the peoples of Israel and Palestine. In Security Council, encouraging peace in Syria. In ECOSOC, aspiring to proper governance. But as the United Nations, we must remember, above all, to act. In the words of President John F. Kennedy, ask not what the world can do for you, ask what you can do for the world. Thank you.
Thank you, delegates. We would like to announce that this year, THIMUN Qatar's main fundraiser is QA Action. QA Action has been working very hard for the past 3 years to construct a school in Erever, Sri Lanka, where children have had the opportunity to learn English and information technology. Just last year, enough funds were raised to construct an entire building, to send 300 children to school, and to fund salaries for each of the teachers. A great accomplishment indeed. However, in charity, we should never stray away from trying to do more. Having raised 140,000 Qatari riyals last year, 14,000 from THIMUN Qatar only, QA Action is confident that we can raise an even greater amount this year. There will be a donation box in every committee room and an informational booth found in the lunchroom where all delegates, guests, and chairs can gain more information about QA Action. I wish you all the best of luck throughout this conference, and remember that actions speak louder than words.
We would like to remind all delegates that committees will start at 8 a.m. sharp, so all delegates should be in their committee room by 8 a.m. Also, all vehicles must go to the car park and no one can be dropped off at the VIP entrance. In addition, all student officers, there will be a debriefing after the ceremony in room 103.
Delegates, I wish you all a successful conference and hope you will make the best out of the next few days. The shaping of the world, the battling of obstacles, and determination of overcoming world's issues will help us all create a better future for our generation and the many more to come. Delegates, these are our opportunities to push the boundaries of our minds and to come to a consensus on solutions for revolution. On behalf of myself, my colleagues here before me, and THIMUN Qatar, I wish you the best of luck and instill my confidence in you for a positive future. It is with my greatest honor that I proclaim the second annual THIMUN Qatar Conference open.
Will all delegates and guests please be seated until the VIP guests have had a chance to exit? Thank you.
and gentlemen,